So we've wrapped up another UFC fight night from their never-ending UFC fight nights till the end of the year because they got to get that ESPN pay-per-view money. And Glover Teixeira comes out, upsets Thiago Santos using that old man strength, just eating shots, falling on his face, but then still taking him down, and then just beating Thiago until he submits him. I mean, it was a crazy fight. It was back and forth. Not how I expected it to go personally. But now you've got, a lot of people clamoring that Teixeira should get the title shot against Jan over Adesanya, saying, Teixeira himself saying he's an old man. Dana, please give him a crack at the belt again. It's been 6 years. He's on a 5-fight win streak. What do you think? Is it time for a Teixeira title shot? Should Izzy versus Jan be put on ice?
If we're going by merit in the division, yes, 100%. Glover Teixeira should absolutely get a title shot. And you also add in the fact that he is 10 years older than Israel Adesanya. That should come into play here. He's not going to be around much longer. So let him get his second crack at the title. It was 2014 when he fought John Jones. A lot has happened since then. John Jones is just, like, hey, you guys, you fight for this thing now. I'm done with it. So let him go ahead and try to stake his claim for the title, right? I will say this, though. If Glover expects to go in there with that same sort of, I don't want to call it a game plan, but the same sort of, method of getting rocked first before he starts dominating a fight, I don't know if that's going to actually play out too well for you against a guy like Blachowicz. So that's something to keep in mind. But yes, 100% Glover Teixeira, title shot. Adesanya, you can wait, bro.
Yeah, this is tough because for me, again, based on merit, based on wins in the division, it's Teixeira all day. Do I think Teixeira... Let's before I say and analyze and look at even Teixeira versus Blachowicz, let's say Teixeira versus Adesanya. Do I think Teixeira beats Israel Adesanya? And the resounding answer to me after that performance is no. Not even, not even remotely close. And the reason why, and I got some flack for this opinion, and make sure you like and subscribe to our videos here. Let me know if this opinion's way out there or not. But for me, if watching that fight, if Santos rocks him in the third and then just doesn't dive into his guard, just lets him back up or just gives him a second, I think Santos wins that fight easy. I think that's a done deal. I think he made a mistake. I think he dives into his guard. He tires himself out. And then Glover, again, just surviving, ends up being able to just take the back of a tired Santos and submit him. And the big issue here is that I guess an Adesanya, who is just a deadly accurate striker, it's gonna look way worse. And Adesanya is not going to dive right in. Like I'm pretty sure he's never dove right in. Even when he rocked Whitaker the second time, he didn't just dive right in and just go for the kill. He smart, methodical. That's what he's gonna do if he fights Teixeira. And maybe at 205, his power doesn't translate the same way. I doubt it. I think if anything, it's going to be, the same, if not more, as we've seen some other guys who move up in weight to actually get increase in power. I think for Adesanya, the power's still going to be there. And because so much of his striking is technical, I think he's still going to hit the right spots. It won't matter anyway. So I see that matchup. And then I look at Teixeira versus Blachowicz, and it's kind of like, hey, let's give the old man a shot before he gets decimated by Adesanya if Adesanya comes through. So I don't know if it makes sense to do that. Am I wrong for thinking that? Is that a weird way of looking at things? Because to me, it's like, let's give this guy a chance at winning the belt before he'll surely lose it, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, right? And also to your point of, Izzy and his striking, I think it's not necessarily as much about power. I mean, look at what Anderson did when he went up to 205. The precision striking is what is just so devastating. It's not necessarily the power. If you hit the right spot perfectly every single time, you're going to hurt your opponent. And if you don't put them out per se, it's going to frustrate the hell out of them, because accurate precision strikes are just, they hurt and they sting, like more than just like a glancing like hook that isn't like perfectly placed or something. So it's just a whole different animal that you're dealing with in there. I mean, just go look at the Forrest Griffin fight against Anderson Silva. Like what? Just precision on the button striking every single time. And that's what Adesanya has shown that he's capable of doing too. So combine that with like you said, like the high IQ of knowing when not to just dive into a bad situation. I do think Santos was possibly hurt still. Like me, I don't think that knee was 100% as well, because like there's just some things like in his movement that just didn't seem off. I don't know if his cardio, it was a lot of time away, and there against a guy like Glover, who's just not going to really let you rest at all. Like the commentator team was saying, like you rock him, it's on. It's kind of funny because I think of that. I always think of that with Glover, and I also always thought of Anthony Johnson. Whenever I poked Anthony Johnson, he was going to come fuck you up from that moment on. So, those are two things, one and the same. But yes, I agree with you, man. Let the guy get his title shot before Adesanya comes up and fucks him up. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, as long as we're all being honest and looking at it that way, I have no problem. Glover is beloved in the MMA community. Hard to find a nicer dude, right? And, as you said, you rarely watch a Glover win without him getting rocked. I think of the same way of Robert Whittaker, who, you have to rock him once, otherwise he's not going to win. It seems to be the case. And so it's one of those things where I think Adesanya versus Glover is a terrible matchup for him, and is just going to be, ugh. But against Blachowicz, not overlooking Blachowicz either, right? He has lost to Santos in his past 8, I believe. I think he's 7-1. And so, he's looked like a monster since that loss, and he's been knocking people out. And he could very easily have the higher fight IQ to rock Teixeira and then give it a minute, let him back up, and then finish him off. So I'm not saying that that's an easy out for Glover either, but if I'm looking at potential opponents, yes, you gotta if you're gonna give Teixeira the shot, you gotta give it to him before Adesanya wins the belt, because then also, as we both know, if Adesanya wins the belt, you'd better believe John Jones is going to go ahead and put a stop to his heavyweight plans and say, you know what, hold on, I'm going to go ahead and go back down there, take that super fight that everybody wants to see. They've had that back and forth beef. I think that's the one fight that makes Jones go, oh, no, wait, I'm going to go back to 205 immediately. And then you've got Teixeira sitting on the shelf even longer. We've mentioned his age. It's not a good combo. So I'm with you there. I think you give him the shot, but it's almost, give him the shot. Dan Henderson versus Bisping style. Not exactly the same thing, because Glover's earned it. Glover has earned this shot. But, it is kind of I don't know how to phrase it without sounding like a dick. It's kind of
go for it. Shoot, go for it.
No, it's kind of like a present from the UFC. Like it's a, you know what? You've been a company man. Here's your gift. We're gonna give you a title shot before Adesanya, so that you get a chance to win the belt. Yeah. Right?
I mean, let him get his payday. Let him get that championship Reebok pay. Before they're out of there and whatever the Venom deal ends up being for these guys. Let him get another big payday and, another marquee spot on the card. He could very well win the fight and be like, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Vacant title. Here you go. You never know. Never know. Like you said, man, he's such a good dude that I want to see him be able to fulfill that dream. Like he was talking about, I just want that title. I don't care about the money anymore, whatever. I want that title. So yeah, if the UFC is going to give him that title shot, it better be against Blachowicz because yeah, Adesanya is just too young. He's too fast. He's too smart to get beat by Glover the way that that Santos just did.
Yeah, yeah. Although Blachowicz has that pre-fight ritual, man, the hangman's noose. Just I don't know what deal he made. I don't know what deal he made, but that's something else, man. I don't, it's we'll see. But yeah, Glover over Adesanya first. Have Adesanya go fight Whitaker because Whitaker's now saying, hey, I never said I didn't want to fight. I just want to take some time off. Yeah, go ahead and tidy up 185, do that fight again, and then move in after Teixeira versus Blachowicz is over. I think that makes sense.